Are you looking for a way to make pillows that drape a little more naturally than those just filled with some cotton? Join me today and see what I use to fill this pillow to make it look a little bit more natural and a little bit more real. I've cut 2 pieces of fabric and I need to put them right sides together. And these are approximately 1.5 inches square. We are going to make a 1-inch pillow and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I've set my sewing machine up with the shortest stitch length I can, and I've got it set up so that it will do an anchor stitch at the beginning of the seam. I'm using my, I think I said I'm using my 1/4 inch foot. Now I'm going to start my seam. Oops, I want needle down position. And I think I may have this just a little too short. No. There we go. Oh, it wasn't done. It wasn't done doing the anchor stitch. Alright, now down this side, staying 1/4 inch away. Stopping 1/4 inch from each corner. And when we get back to that first side, we're not going to go all the way back to where we started. We are going to stop on the opposite side because we need to leave a nice opening so that we can turn our pillow and then fill it. Alright, so I'm going to stop my seam here. Alright, so we now have it sewed. Started over here, we ended here, we've got this nice opening here. Did that show? Let's try going down here. Okay, we started here and we ended here, so we have a nice opening. I'm going to clip my corners so it will turn nicer. I'm not going to bother pressing this. And I think from here we are going to move to my work table where I can work and get a better job of filming. And so let me reset everything up in my workroom at my work table, and we can continue. Now we're set up in here, so we've got our opening here. To do that, now we're going to turn this right side out, and I use something like a knitting needle. It works really nicely. Just be careful you don't poke through the fabric. And if you are going to be setting your pillows on like an expensive piece of furniture or something really delicate, you might want to do a lining and cover your pillow with a second fabric just to help it keep from leaking. I should have gone just a little bit further on that end. But that's okay, we can fold it over when we sew it shut. Got nice corners. And now we are going to fill our pillow and then sew it shut. So let me make our own funnel, because not everybody has little tiny funnels. So to do that, we just take a piece of paper. I think most of us probably know how to do this, but there's probably a few out there that don't. It's kind of like the same way you would make a funnel to use in the kitchen for frosting, like to decorate a cake. Close it off and then cut the point off. Now, so now we have our own little instant funnel. Now we are going to fill our pillows up, our pillow up, with some sand. Let's see if I can do this without making a whole big mess all over everything. isn't opened yet. Alright. And it does help if you remember to get something to scoop the sand with, which I forgot to do. Well, I've got a bottle cap here, that'll work. And this is just some plain white sand. Where's the video camera? You'll have to work with it. And sometimes the sand needs a little little convincing to go in down through the funnel. Just like when you're using a funnel in the kitchen. Sometimes stuff doesn't want to go down it. There it goes. And I'm making a mess. Come on. That's probably plenty. Alright, and now I need to put the bag of sand down and get a needle and thread. Got the sand put away so I won't spill it all over my carpet, because that just makes a mess. Let's see if I can get this top corner just a little bit nicer. And when you're not doing this on video camera, you can actually probably take a little more time getting your corners in nice and all that good stuff. Doing it for the camera makes it a little more difficult. I can't really get in and do a lot of the detail work. Normally the bottom, the sewed edge would be a lot neater than this one's going to be. See if I can hide my stitches. These first few are going to show, but tuck down. But I know before when I've showed you pillows, we've always just put some cotton in them, and then they get really stiff and they kind of bow out and they don't drape nicely. By filling them with sand, like I showed you today, you can make that, you know, the pillow that's been on the chair for a while and it's gotten kind of broken in and soft and comfortable, and it kind of gets a dent in it when somebody's been on it, and you know what I mean. Well, that's what this is supposed to represent. And I think I mentioned if you're going to put this on an expensive piece of miniature furniture, you might want to line your pillow, make the pillow itself out of a plain fabric, and then put your pretty fabric on as a second layer on the outside, just to help ensure that it will not leak sand all over your furniture. But that's not as bad as some other things that you can do. Now, I've seen a few people that do the same process, but they use salt, and there's a couple of problems with that. Number one, salt will attract bugs. Salt will attract moisture, and it will rot the fabric out, and it can make marks on whatever furniture it's sitting on. So there we go. Let's get that a little more square. Like I said, if you're doing this not for a camera, you can make sure that you're a little more square. Let me go get a miniature chair and set this in, and you can see what I mean about how it looks more natural. To figure out where I had left the other batch of pillows I made. Now here's the pillow we made a while back when we did the bed. You see how it just kind of sits there? The nice thing about these, so you can kind of mold them, and they look, well, if you work with them for a while, you can make them kind of flop over, and they'll stay. Come on, get the sand down. Of course, it won't cooperate with me on camera, but it just looks a little more natural. And if you lay like a pet, like if you've got a cat or something you want to sit on the pillow will indent more naturally when it's filled with sand. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't found us on Facebook, be sure and find us over there. Be sure and read the blog post that goes with this. There's usually extra little bits in the blog post. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.